All right, my friends, what's your favorite sports team? Look what we've got right here. Jan's making this for her son. You can tell what he loves. Got himself some Cougars. Let me talk about what's going on right here. All applique helmet right here with this insignia on it and the words to go with it. And let me show you, she's done a beautiful job of edge stitching that down all the way around every one of these pieces. Now, when you're doing something like applique, which I get a fair amount here at the Quilting Studio, and I love it. It's always so interesting. My honey girl, she just has a little tiny opening right here. We want to make sure all those pieces are really tightly stitched down. You can do it with edge stitching, as Jan did. You can do it with zigzag. You can do it with embroidery, but they really do need to be stitched down, not just pressed down. I do get a few that are pressed down. I'm just telling you, they just don't work out. That's not something you want to have. I want your quilt to have the very best possibility of coming out of here absolutely stunning, and it's going to work out great if you make sure that you stitch down all of that applique. So take a few minutes and do that. Yes, it's extra work, but it's way less work than if you have to handle it afterwards. So that's not something that we want to have happening either. Now, is it? Jan has brought a magnificent furry minky. Really furry. It's not just a flat minky. It has really got some depth and texture to it. So much fun right there. Now, sometimes when I get a minky, she likes to migrate to the front a little bit. She wants to join the party on the front side as well and bring herself up here. When the quilt gets used, when it gets moved around, when it gets washed, that's going to get right back down where it needs to go and settle itself down a little bit. And that's what we like to have happen. The color of thread that I'm using on here is trying to blend with a lot of what she has, and that's what I love to do with a quilt when we have a minky back, is be able to blend it as much as possible. Let's talk about the design I'm putting on here. This is literally my football design. You can see that she's created a nice football right here. She even has, let's go up here, we can see one better. She even has the lacing in it right there. Magnificent. And then there's all this design around it that's like it's getting thrown through the air, like a movement to go with it. Pow, pow, sending it along. Now, when I have a design like this, I want to cater it to the size of the quilt. So I put it into the CAD screen. She told me how big she kind of wanted it to be. And I want to be a little bit different than that. I want to increase the size just a little, mostly because of that magnificent minky backing. So by increasing the size a little bit, I now had to tell her to cut it off over on the edge right here. She's not going to go one full pattern. She's going to go about a half a pattern. So I'm literally telling her to cut it off right here. All of those threads are going to be secure. They're all going to be attached and together. None of them are going to be loose, but that's a custom that I do. When it comes to the edge, I'm going to tell the machine exactly where I want her to go. That's exactly what I do here at the Quilting Studio. I want you to get the best possible quilt, and that's one way that I can add that to the benefit of your quilting. What team are you excited about? What's happening in your house to prepare for the big teams that are on their way? I'm telling you what, getting yourself a fantastic quilt like this is one way to be able to ensure that people are having a lot of fun while they're watching their teams. Bring it over here to the Quilting Studio and let me help you find a great design. I have quite a few sports motifs that we can choose to put on here, and I have dozens and dozens of colors of thread that are going to fit your quilt perfectly.